This presentation will be going over all the necessary information you will need to understand how to use Tickit to manage and assess risks. The module will outline what Tickit is, homepage risk widget, the risk register, risk assessment terminology, assessing risks, completing a risk review task, how to add a new assessment, how to link a task to a risk, how to link an event to a risk reports, how to report a new risk, reporting for existing Tickit users, and finally, admin notifications. Tickit on Demand has been established to effectively manage and monitor tasks to ensure compliance with a range of legislation and internal controls related to the Corporations Act of 2001, the Australian Financial Services Licence, AFSL requirements, Australian Securities and Investment Commission, ASIC requirements, ASX and NSX listing rules, Financial Services Council, FSC requirements, Australian Transaction Reports and Analysis Centre, AUSTRAC requirements, Australian Taxation Office, ATO requirements, and RFM's internal policies and procedures. The system is hosted externally and can be accessed from anywhere with a computer, an internet browser, and connection. The system specifies responsibility for all tasks within the system, including the timing and recurrence of the tasks. It creates an environment to effectively manage risks and incidents. The system ensures that appropriate action is taken where required and that RFM meets any compliance obligations imposed on the company. The risk widget on your home page shows an overview of all the assessed risks within RFM. There are two views to the risk widget: inherent risks or residual risks. To change the setting, click on the Edit button, select how you would like to view the risks, and click the Save button. If you cannot see the risk widget on your home page, click on the Add Stuff button in the top left corner, tick the widget you want to add, and click Add. On the risk widget, if you hover your cursor above the term, for example, likely, you will see the description of the term. You will also see the descriptions in the individual risk assessment page of the risk by hovering the cursor above the term. The widget will show the number of risks assessed, risks in the various combinations of likelihood and consequence. If you click on the small square in the bottom square, a window will pop up showing all the assessed risks in this combination. Click the X button to close the window. If you click on any of the risks shown, blue links, Tickit will take you straight to the risk assessment page. All the risks can be found under the tab Risks. The risks are displayed in alphabetical order. You can search for a particular risk by the risk name, if known, or you can filter it by the risk owner, the business unit, or the risk category. If you click on the link under the risk name, this will take you directly to the main risk page. If you click on the link under the business unit, i.e. RFM, corporate, poultry, etc., this will take you to the actual risk assessment page for that business unit. Tickit uses a range of terms which are consistent with RFM risk management policy. The risk details, top half of the risk page, have been preset and can be changed only by the system administrator. The second half of the page will show all the risk assessments for the risk. There may be a single assessment or multiple assessments. Click on the business unit, for example, horticulture, and it will take you to that risk assessment page. An image of the risk assessment page is displayed here. Risk process is a preset range of risks which are sub-risks determined following the risk review in 2012. For the majority of the risks, this field will not apply. However, if a business unit has a number of sub-risks for a particular risk, this field will contain additional information which relates to the main risk name. Risk process is linked to the risk name. For example, see the risk contracts management. This helps to group data for reporting purposes. Sub-risks are a preset range of sub-risks for that particular risk determined following the risk review in 2012. For example, contracts management. A risk process has two sub-risks, monitoring and compliance, and unenforceable or inadequate contracts. You will see the sub-risks differentiated on the risk assessment tabs. The description is the definition of the sub-risk, if there is a sub-risk, or the main risk. The description will be pertinent to the business unit it applies to. Control measures are measures undertaken by RFM to control or mitigate the risk. The risk owner is the person responsible for the ongoing management of the risk. The estimated financial consequence field is optional. It can be used to measure the gap between the costs of a risk occurring versus the cover received from an insurance policy. Enter the cost of the risk occurring here. This field can be used in reports. Risk notes are notes for further actions or notes for the board. The risk appetite field allows RFM to set the company's approach to the risk, low, moderate, high, or extreme. At times, RFM may be willing to accept a higher level of risk to achieve a set objective. For risks that would endanger RFM's reputation, the attitude will be set at a low level. All risks need to be assessed. The likelihood and the consequence of the risk eventuating needs to be rated for each individual area of the business. In Tickit, the inherent risk is assessed as the likelihood of an event happening, mapped against the consequence of that event happening. The residual risk is calculated by mapping the control effectiveness against the inherent risk. All risks are reviewed and assessed prior to being imported into Tickit. An annual review has been scheduled, which will ensure that risks will be reviewed and reassessed at least annually. However, the risk owner may change the frequency of these reviews monthly, quarterly, or 6-monthly as required. See below. The risk owner can assess the risk assessment review in a number of ways. From the automated email, you will receive a Tickit notification when a risk assessment is due. From your Tickit homepage, My Actions list, click the action link next to the risk assessment details shown. From your Tickit homepage calendar, there will be a blue line on a particular date indicating a risk review is due that day. Click on the day, then click on the link. In Tickit, click on the Risk tab, search for the risk which has the review due. Click on the risk name, then click on the risk assessment for the relevant business unit. When completing a risk assessment, review the following details. Description. Is the risk description adequate? Are further details required? Control measures. Are there any additional control measures that RFM has implemented since the last review? Are there any changes? And finally, review date. Is an annual review sufficient to manage the risk adequately? To change the timing of frequency of the review, click on the link Change. This will allow you to change the date of the review and its frequency. Please note overdue email notifications have been set for weekly notifications as default. The risk owner should only be changed with consent from the new risk owner and relevant executive managers. Estimated financial consequence or risk notes. Add as required, but these fields are optional. Rating, inherent risk control effectiveness. You can change the existing risk rating by moving the large X on the risk matrix or using the slide buttons on the right side. Once you have completed the risk assessment, click the Save button. If no changes are needed, it is not necessary to save. You can view the risk history, changes to the risk parameters, risk assessments, and any changes for the risk in the risk history, bottom of the page, by clicking on the down arrow. Tickit will send you a notification when a risk review is due. You will also be able to see the risk review task in your My Actions list on the main page of Tickit. To complete the review, click on the action link in the task notification in Tickit as above, or in the email notification. This will take you to the risk assessment page for that particular risk. Review the current risk assessment to ensure the risk assessment is accurate. Once you are satisfied with the risk assessment and have made any changes, see previous slides, you can finalize the risk review. Click on the green Action button to take you to the task results window. Enter the results status, add notes, if any, and click the Save button. You can add a new assessment for your business unit for an existing risk or for a new sub-risk. To add a new assessment, click on the link Add Assessment. Ensure you have the risk that you want to add open. This will bring up a blank assessment. Complete the details as required. Please note the risk process and sub-risk only apply if you're creating an assessment for a sub-risk. If you cannot find the relevant risk process and/or sub-risk from the drop-down menus, please contact the system administrator. Once you have entered all relevant details, click the Create button to save your work. If you want to exit the assessment without saving it, click the Cancel button. Existing tasks can be linked to a risk. Click on the Manage Linked Task Allocations button. This will open a task allocations box. Click on the link View All to bring up a list of all tasks. Search for the required task using the search box by typing the name of the task there. Tip: it's good to know beforehand the name of the task. Click on the link button to create a link between the risk and the task. Click the Done button. To unlink a task, click on the Manage Linked Task Allocations button and click the Unlink button for the task you wish to remove, then click the Done button. If you would like to add a new task and then link it to a specific risk, please email the system administrator, the compliance officer, with the details. Existing events, such as HSEQ incidents or compliance breaches, can be linked to a risk. Click on the Manage Linked Events button. This will bring up an Events Links box. Type the name or a few words of the event in the search box. Once you have located the event, click on the Link button. You can link more than one event. Click the Done button. To unlink an event, click on the Manage Linked Events button and click the Unlink button for the event you wish to remove, then click the Done button. You can use the same steps to link an insurance policy or a document to a risk. Please note, RFM is not currently using Tickit to record copies of insurance policies. The RFM risk management policy can be found in the RFM intranet. Custom reports have been developed for reporting on risks. The reports can be found under the Reports tab in Tickit. The main risk reports are Consolidated Risk Register. This report provides a summary of all the company's risks, the potential impact, the responsible person, existing controls, and inherent and residual risk rating. Risk Status Report Residual Risk. This report provides a summary of all risks with the residual risk rating of high and extreme. These reports can be customized by applying various filters. You can create a report for an individual risk owner or for a specific business category. You can generate reports for different risk ratings. Tickit also allows you to format the report. You can add as much information as required. To select additional data to display in the report, click on the down arrow menu under Display. Unwanted items can be deleted by clicking on the trash icon. You can also rearrange the order of the data by dragging and dropping the item. A customized report can be saved in the system. Click on the Save as New button. Then change the name of the report in Details. Click on the Edit button, type the new report name, then save. You can report a new risk via the Tickit Incidents reporting link on the main intranet page under the RFM logo or using RFM Tickit Web Kiosk. The kiosk is available to all RFM staff, including login users, and does not require you to log in. Go to the RFM intranet, internal system, Tickit, and click on the Tickit Web Kiosk icon. You can also access Tickit via web browser at the link listed. You will be directed to the reporting page of Tickit. Click on the drop-down menu What Happened to select the new risk report. Enter all relevant details. Please note that the fields marked with a star or a red dot are mandatory fields and must be completed. When you have completed all details, click the Submit button to submit your report. Tickit will not let you submit the forms unless all mandatory fields have been completed. The event owner, the compliance officer, will receive an email alert immediately and will take the necessary action. Tickit users with a login can also report a new risk in the Events tab by logging into the system. Click on Create New Event and select New Risk Report. Complete the relevant fields, ensuring all mandatory fields, marked with a red dot, have been completed. Once entered, click the Submit button. Tickit will not let you submit the form unless all mandatory fields have been completed. The event owner, the compliance officer, will receive an email alert immediately and will take the necessary action. Please notify the system administrator if changes are required to any of the details in the risk name, categories, definition, potential impact, to add a new task and link it to a specific risk, to retire an existing risk or a risk assessment, please include the reason for retirement. To report a new risk, you can also use the Tickit Web Kiosk or you can report a new risk under the Events tab and any other administrative tasks. This concludes the module.